And welcome to our podcast and video cast here on GoEagles.com, brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union, serving their members' financial needs since 1951. We're here with volleyball now. Coach Michael King, interim coach Michael King here joining us. And you folks have been practicing now for about a week or so. So talk a little bit about how practice is going so far.
Well, practice has been going great. The team is really starting to gel, and the cohesion of the team is absolutely at a high right now. So we're trying to hopefully that we won't peak too soon with that. But the practice has been very intense, where the volume has been pretty low. So we're trying to manage their jumps and their swings a little bit. But right now, we've got several seniors that are stepping up, taking a major leadership role. And our outsides are really starting to dial it in.
Coach Benson is taking some time off at the start of the year as he continues to recuperate from throat cancer. You are new in the program. You're not new in the program. You've been here a couple of times before, but you're new. You haven't been here in a few years. So how much are you? What's the adjustment period as far as you getting to know these athletes that are here?
Great question. Well, first and foremost, I think that I think coaches are teachers, and second, Wade and I have a history together for about 20 plus years, and we've worked together in the past. And as me being an assistant here before, a number of years ago, it's been a really easy transition to be able to step in and work with these young ladies. I had the opportunity to come in last spring. And so I was really able to set kind of a tone of the gym culture, what we're looking for. And with Wade and I working together in the past, it's been very, very easy because we're pretty much very similar in the style of what we do and how we create that culture in the gym and how we create that team cohesion and that bond. So it's been a very seamless move.
You talked about creating that bond for the team. You folks are going to get a chance to do that a little bit here as you start your season in about a week and a half, and you're headed all the way to the Carolinas, and you have 6 matches set up in the Carolinas here over the first 8 or 9 days probably of the season, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. We're going to be taking for us, it's going to be a major road trip because not often do we have the luxury to be able to go over to the East Coast and spend 10, 11 days over there. And I just really thank the administration for allowing us to be able to have that type of budget to be able to get over there and to show what Eagle Volleyball is all about on the East Coast.
And in those first 6 matches, you've got a couple of very tough ones, but you also have 3 or 4 that are against Big Sky caliber schools, and it'll be a good measuring stick, I would think, for your team.
Oh, no question. We got some really tough opponents over there on the East Coast. I spent a little time over there coaching, and there's some very good volleyball that goes on over there too as well. So I think it's going to be a great point for us to be able to see kind of where we're at. How do we measure ourselves to schools in the ACC, and how do we measure ourselves to other schools in other conferences?
You've got a very tough schedule. You play at the University of Idaho tournament. One of the schools you'll take on is Missouri, which is one of the best volleyball teams in the nation. And then you really go into the tall weeds when you go down to California and you play 3 top 30, top 35 programs down there.
No question. It's going to be a great measure for us to see, hey, where are we at right now, and what are we doing well, and where do we need to get a little bit better and kind of refine our skill set before we hit the conference. And I think for us, we're definitely approaching every match as we're competing and we're competing to win, and I really like the attitudes of the players in the gym right now. It's fantastic.
8 returning letter winners, 10 newcomers. How do you blend everybody together?
Well, that really is, to me, that's not magic. It really is. It's getting to know each other and knowing our strengths and knowing our weaknesses, knowing just more than their names and their background, but knowing more about who they are individually, and then be able to bring a set of standards to the gym, because that's where we're spending the most of our time right now. And so what are those standards, and then how do we work through adversity? And I think the girls have done a tremendous job of of doing that.
You've got some very good returning players. Allie Schumacher is back. Melissa Walter is back. So you've got some people coming back to work with.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And like I said earlier, the seniors are taking on a great leadership role where they are really mentoring the younger and the newbies. Was kind of a phrase that we call them. And the newbies have just been absolutely just great with listening, with getting an idea of what the university's about a little bit more in depth, and the seniors have just been great with leading.
10 newcomers. Is it too early to be able to say, ooh, this person's really going to help us out, this person's really going to help us out?
Well, there's no question about that. And, I definitely think that we've got a number of potential Big Sky athletes in our gym right now that are competing every single day on every play. And there's definitely, a good handful of upperclassmen that are going to be impact players for us.
Is it too early? Have you made decisions as to who redshirts, who doesn't? Is it too early for that yet? Or is that maybe a week away since
Sure.
you don't have a game till a week from Friday?
Sure, yeah. We're definitely going to be wrapping up some of our player coaches meetings and getting that a little bit refined in towards the end of this week here. I definitely foresee one or two athletes certainly taking that redshirt role as we can just take a little bit more time to develop their skill set. But there's no question that these potential redshirts could actually step in and potentially even start right away for us. So as a coaching staff, we're still battling that a little bit amongst ourselves in terms of where do we go and what's our vision of this player and what's their vision of themselves, because we want to get their input too before we make any final decisions.
Tell us a little bit about your background, because I mentioned you're familiar with Eastern Washington. You've
Sure.
been here a couple of times, so just give us a quick thumbnail.
Oh, sure, absolutely. My first exposure to Eastern was back in 1998 when Pamela Parks was the head coach here, and Wade was an assistant coach, and I came in as another assistant coach here. I was pretty young in the days. It was really my first exposure to college athletics as a paid coach. Before that, I was at Oregon State as an assistant or as a volunteer assistant. And so I got an opportunity to come here, and I coached here for a couple of seasons. And then I actually came back when Wade was the head coach back in 2002. I came back and did a short stint here for a while with Wade.
And then you came back to Eastern from where?
I came back. I spent a little time over on the East Coast at Winthrop, but prior to that, I spent six years at the University of Portland, and so I'm a Northwest guy. I love the Northwest. I kind of consider Eastern Washington my home, and the opportunities that Eastern has provided me and my family has just been amazing.
What's going on in practice right now? Do you do double day practices? Do you just do one big long one? How do you break them up at this point in time?
Sure, we do a variety of different things. We certainly do some double days for sure, where we do some big component sessions. We also will do some individual sessions inside that too as well, because we're really trying to manage their work to rest ratio and how many jumps and how many swings that they're taking. Our concept, our mindset is that we want every practice to be very high intense. Well, that's pretty challenging to do when they're going a 3-hour block and then a rest period and then another 3-hour block in the afternoon. That's a lot of jumps. It's a lot of swings. So we definitely are trying to manage that a little bit. So we'll maybe do like an hour in the morning and then come back in the afternoon and do a 3-hour practice. But we also do a 3-hour break and then followed up by another 3-hour session.
Does Coach Benson pop his head in at all, or is he pretty much turning this all over to you?
For the most part, he's pretty much passed the baton, and that pretty much happened last spring too as well when he first got diagnosed, and and like I said, the transition was very seamless because we had worked together before in the past, so I had that opportunity in the spring to really work with the athletes and kind of get my voice in the gym with them, and then coming now, it's been very, very similar.
What's your expectation for the year? I know the coaches voted the volleyball team to finish 7th in the Big Sky. What's your expectation for the season?
Right now, we're certainly expecting a lot more than 7th. I really believe. I think the coaching staff believes. I think the players believe. More importantly, that we're better than 7th, and we're competing for every match to make that win. And that, for us, it's, we have our big goal, but we have the little small daily goals that we have every single day in practice on how we're improving and how we're making this ball contact better, and how are we improving ourselves and how are we improving each other. So those are the little tiny things that we're doing every single day, and those are the expectations that we have for each other every day, and it's really starting to really take off.
Is that motivation, being picked 7th, motivation for this season? Do you use that as telling them, hey, we're better than this?
There's no question about that, and we don't really talk about the preseason coaches poll a whole lot. We certainly was mentioned, and it certainly was dealt with. But for us, it's more about, hey, what are we doing every day? And how are we getting better on this play? And that's what we're really focusing on, because I think if we take care of those things, then it takes care of the preseason poll.
We'll be here weekly, depending on travel schedules with volleyball. And Coach, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. And best of luck a week from Friday in Carolina.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You betcha. Interim Volleyball Coach Michael King here with us on our podcast and videocast, brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union.